welcome to StoryMakers. Today we're celebrating Chicks Rule, and the creator of the book, Sudipta Bardhan-Quallen. Did I say that? Quallen?
You did.
Yes,
you
terrific.
Did.
Welcome to
StoryMakers.
StoryMakers, and congratulations. We're celebrating Chicks Rule, and so tell us about Chicks Rule.
Chicks Rule is one of my favorite books that I've done, and that's really difficult to choose because your books are like your children, and when you have a lot of children, you're not supposed to have a favorite.
Right.
Even though sometimes parents do. But this was actually one of my favorite ones to work on because the message is really important to me. The book is about a bunch of chicks who've been told they're not allowed to do something. And instead of sitting around and sulking about it, they decide that they're gonna work together and they're gonna do something to change that. And I feel like that is something we have all felt, and it isn't just a kid feeling. Kids feel it all the time. You're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and sometimes they really shouldn't do it. But sometimes it's somebody else putting a judgment on them. And sadly, it isn't something we grow out of, even as adults. We're often told, you shouldn't do this, you're not allowed to do this, you're not gonna be good at this. And I think it's an important lesson for kids to learn when they're young, that just because somebody else has an opinion on what you're capable of, doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be. And if you feel strongly about something, you can use your voice, you can make a change, you can stand up for what you think the world should be. And it's actually the little changes that we make that often have the biggest impression on the entire world.
There are some chicks that want to be part of the Rocket Club in this book.
So right? there are all different chicks in this book, and they all want to be a part of something different. The nerdy chick wants to be part of the Rocket Club. The cool chick wants to be in the Directors Guild. They all want to do something else, and they've been following their interests up until this point, but then they reach this point where they're being told, no, you're not allowed to go any further. Like I said, that is something we all experience at different points. A lot of people, when they face that, they stop. You know, they let the world tell them what to do. These particular chicks, they've had enough. They've had enough of hearing from the rest of the world what they're allowed to do and what they're allowed to be a part of. And not only do they get mad, they decide to take action.
And the illustrator of this book is Renee Carilla?
Yep.
Yes, and do you have a favorite illustration from the book?
I do. I mean, the illustrations are all beautiful, so it's hard to choose.
They're very colorful.
What she does with the expressions of the chicks is really, really amazing. But this one is my favorite spread because here you see the chicks all in step and wing and wing. And I think, to me, again, that's one of the messages that I want to bring out to people, that it takes us all to come together to do something good for the world.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little quiz now.
Okay.
So we have our 6 chicks here, arm in arm, or as you said, wing in wing.
Yep.
Yes, so can you tell us who they are?
Let's see. That one's Baker Chick, that one's Rocker Chick, that one's Surfer Chick, and Tailor Chick. This is the chick who draws, and this is Sporty Chick.
Well, you did very well. But you know, it is really, I read the book, and I saw these chicks earlier, but they're a little more difficult to identify because earlier in the book they have different things, like Surfer Chick
had her
surfboard, and Tailor Chick, you know, had the tape measure, and she was measuring people for their clothes. But now
they are more than what they started out as. They're not sticking to their labels, which is something, again, that I hope that kids really know that they can do too. They don't always have to be the smart kid or the sporty kid or the fun kid. Life is long, and you can do so much in your life, and you should take every opportunity to explore as much as you can and as much as you want to.
So the chicks organize, and they gather, and they protest?
I don't know that they protest. I read it more that they've all faced something that is very upsetting to them. And it's okay to be upset when life throws you something that is hard to deal with. Your feelings are valid. It is completely okay to just be angry or sad, right? But you can also take it one step further and you can take action. And so I don't know that they are protesting because something's so awful. I think they're more taking their power. And they're saying that we're all coming together and we're going to make a change in the world that we want. And it's okay if other people or other chicks aren't supporting us, right?
Can you give us some examples how, people watching this show, especially young people watching this show, can take action?
It's harder for kids. I will agree, because again, kids are always being told they're not allowed to do things, they shouldn't do things. But I think there are lots of ways that kids can stand up for things that matter. For example, you've probably known a kid who's been bullied. And it isn't easy to stand up and tell the bully to stop, or to tell a teacher or your parents. Kids don't want to be labeled as the one who tells on other kids. They don't want to become the new target. But I think that if you can stand up and even tell one bully, leave that kid alone. Or even simpler, if you see a kid who isn't getting along, doesn't feel like they belong in the class, she's always sitting by herself at lunch, no one's walking with her from class to class, take a chance and go sit next to her, say hello. Walk next to her when she's going from one place to another. Show that you are with her. That even if you don't know who she is and you don't know what you have in common, you know that it's not a nice feeling to feel left out, and at least you are not going to let her feel left out. I think that can be a very powerful thing for kids to do.
So boys and girls, if you know a person being bullied, you should come to their defense. Or if you know someone that is having a hard time fitting in, maybe you should try to be their friend. So boys and girls, I have a challenge. This is a fun challenge. Besides coming to a defense of someone who's being bullying, or becoming a friend with someone who's having difficulty making friends. So this is a fun challenge. I want you to go to your library, either your school library or your public library, and ask for Chick's Rule. Okay? Or to your local bookstore and get a copy of Chick's Rule. And I want you to start from the beginning of the book. Start from this page right here. And I want you to begin counting the number of different chicks you find in the book. So you're going to have to decide which chicks you have seen already and which ones are new. Okay, when you think you know the answer, tell us in the comment section. Well, they're going to have a lot of fun counting, because Nerdy Chick has lots and lots of friends.
She does, because there are lots and lots and lots of different chicks out there.
There are. So do you have one particular, besides Nerdy Chick, because she's sort of the star of the book, would you say?
Yeah.
Do you have any other chicks that are close to your heart?
Well, as a lifelong nerdy chick myself, I do feel very much like I identify with her. But I think some of my other favorite chicks, I really love bow and arrow aiming chick.
Oh,
because
yes.
I just feel like, how cute is that? That she's going with it. How many people do you see doing archery these days? I love her, and I really love these two chicks here, yoga chick and maker chick.
Right.
Because again, these aren't things you see chicks doing all the time, but they love it and they're going for it. And I appreciate that about them.
Yes. So also, you can comment on your favorite chick. Back to a Nerdy Chick. In the book, there's a transformation of Nerdy Chick.
There is?
Yes. So, and all these chicks that come to her aid, how does she feel?
Well, I think that definitely at the beginning of the story, she feels angry. She feels hurt. She's been told she's not allowed to follow her dream. And she decided to take that emotion and turn it into something good. And I think not only did she put out a call to all the chicks in the world so that she could create a team for herself and make more friends and make more connections, I think we also see her becoming a leader over the course of this, right? Because she's taking all of these chicks that have gathered on her behalf and not letting them just be angry for her, but asking them to turn their anger into something that would be a meaningful change. So we see her doing that. And I'm not going to tell you whether she gets what she started out wanting, because you're going to have to read the book to find that out. But I think in a certain way, is she happy with things the way it turned out? I bet she is, because I think she realized what I'd like a lot of kids to realize is that by wanting to make a change in the world and by taking action, she's already won. She's a winner just by doing that. And that is really an important thing for her to have learned. And I hope that if you're reading it, you feel that way too.
And that's Chicks Rule. And if you enjoy Chicks Rule, which I know you will, we have some other books they may enjoy by you. Brobot's Bedtime. So what's Brobot's Bedtime about?
Brobot Bedtime is about 3 brother robots, the Brobots, who they're supposed to be going to bed. It's time to shut down for the night. But they're having trouble getting to sleep. And their youngest Brobot brother is creating some problems for all of them to face. So we kind of get to see how they come together and figure out how to get to bed before their parents come and give them a hard reboot.
And then we have Tyrannosaurus Rex, but Rex is spelled W-R-E-C-K-S. I wonder what this is about.
It's about a Tyrannosaurus who wrecks a lot of things, but it's actually more about being the kid in the group who always seems to be making a mess, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean breaking things or being bad, but the kid who's having a hard time just going with the flow. And it's hard to be that kid. It's hard to be the one who feels like you keep making mistakes, or you're disappointing your friends, or you're disappointing your teacher, especially if that's not what you're trying to do and you're trying to do things right. So the story is fun because you see all the different ways that he wrecks things, but I think you also get to see how you can deal with this with your support system, with your friends, with your family, with your teachers, how they can help you not feel like you're having a Tyrannosaurus Rex day, but you're having more of a normal day, a good day.
Well, this was so much fun, having you, and I can't wait to, one, find out the number of chicks that are pictured in this book, and I can't wait to find out which character viewers identify with.
I also think it might be interesting, see how many of these chicks you recognize in your life. I bet you know a sporty chick, I bet you know a nerdy chick. You'd be surprised how many of these people are already in your life.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And remember, until next time, read a book in any format.